Hey everybody, sorry about the sound quality and the video quality. I forgot to plug the good camera in, so I'm using the NoPro to film this. And I got to do it outside. I can't wait, I need to do it now because the sun's shining and I'm home while it's shining. And it's literally the first time in a week that that's been the case. And it's supposed to get cloudy tomorrow, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do much filming outside over the next week. It's going to be rainy, snowy, windy, and negative 21 degrees wind chill by Thursday. So the reason why I got to be outside to make this video is because we're going to talk about Zone 1. We're going to continue our permaculture zone discussion, and we're going to take a walk around our Zone 1 and show you what it looks like and tell you some of the reasons we did some of the stuff we did, and hopefully give you some ideas what you can do with your Zone 1. So come on, let's go take a walk. Now, if you remember correctly, Zone 1 is the zone that's closest to the center of human activity, which most of the time means your dwelling. Now, Zone 1 can extend out as far as you want, but the key thing is you need to be in Zone 1 doing something every single day. That's why it's considered Zone 1. It's not necessarily the proximity, it's how much activity and energy you put into that zone. And now I'm walking, if you can look, I'm walking out to the end of the driveway. Now you may wonder why I'm doing that when we're talking about Zone 1. The reason is because the mailbox is out here, and I figure it's a good place to start. Reason being, we're out here checking the mail every single day, except for Sundays. And so, anytime we leave the property, we're coming through this gate right here. See the gate? So, anytime we leave the property, we're coming through this gate. And that's pretty much a daily occurrence. So, this gate we're going to call the beginning of our Zone 1. And what can we do around this gate to make it more productive permaculture? As you can see, there's not much here right now. But we could take, and since we're coming through this gate all the time, we could put plants on either side of this gate that make food for us. You know, some sort of berry bush or some sort of fruit bush. And that way we can stop if we need to and harvest from it. But then we go through the gate and we come down the driveway, and as you can see, the properties. You know what? While we're doing this video, let's do a before. Let's talk about before and after. Let's talk about the changes we made too. All right. So we're coming down. Now this area right here, the parking area, this is part of our Zone 1 as well. Really not much you can do to make a gravel parking lot productive, but you can get around the edges, and that's where you're most productive in permaculture, around the edges. So on the edge of this parking area and right up next to the house, right up next to Zone 0, we've put these raised beds in. Now when we moved in, there was a fence here and there was an old rickety ramp right there that went up to the house, and we tore all that out and we turned this into a productive area. We've got some rose bushes, and I'm going to say that in the summertime our Zone 1 even extends out to that fire pit. That's just a little cinder block fire pit that we built, and we're gonna eventually make a nicer one there. But I would say that it even extends out here, because we're out here a lot of nights in the summer or the spring when it's not too terribly hot, and we're enjoying the evening. But our Zone 1, these are the medicine beds. We've got medicine in here, and we've got kitchen herbs and all kinds of useful stuff. This bed right here that's looking pretty rough, that one had lettuce in it, and it was really nice to be able to walk out here and get fresh lettuce. But as you can see, we're right up next to the house. Now, the porch is definitely, even though it's connected to the house, this is a Zone 0 or a Zone 1 as well. I'm sorry. It's a Zone 1 as well. And right now, you got to pardon the mess. That's a bunch of stuff that we got when we went picking at the old prepper place, And it's outside because it's not very sanitary, and it's got a bunch of mouse droppings and stuff on it. So we're sanitizing stuff as we go along. But this porch can be your zone 1 too, and you can make it productive. You can hang baskets from the wood right there, and you could grow tomatoes or grapes or some sort of fruit, something edible or something medicinal. Once I get the railings on, we can hang railing boxes off of there and grow edible stuff there. And we go around the house, and see, I built another bed on the back side of this storm shelter, and that bed is eventually going to have trellises going almost as tall as the building there, and it will have vining vegetables on it. And there's comfrey down there right now. It's kind of hard to see. You see some right there that's dead. Well, it's not dead, it's dormant. But you can see that. Come around here. This is another part of zone 1, because especially in the wintertime, we are out here every single day in this wood crib pulling wood in for the house. And again, there's another bed. Oh, pardon my shadow. We're going to spin around and take some more tour of zone 1, see what we got going on here. Now the garden, let's walk over here. Oh, as we pass the strawberry patch, I need to get out here and put some straw on that, don't I? Get it insulated. Now the garden in the summertime is zone 1 as well. Now right now it's kind of a zone 3 because we don't go in there very often right now. The chickens and turkeys go in there. But during the summertime, in the spring and fall, that's a zone 1 because we do a whole bunch of work in there. And this is our kitchen garden. This is the garden where we get our food from. And then come back around here. We're still in zone 1 here. And I got an entourage with me. Oh, I left the door open. Let me shut this door right quick. And as you can see, we got the greenhouse. The greenhouse is definitely in zone 1 because we're out here all the time. Right now, it's got a bunch of storage in it. In fact, I just put some Premier 1 fencing in there for the winter storage. Now, we're out here by the animal pens and the cages and coops. This is zone 1 again because we are in here every single day taking care of the animals. Now when you're doing zone 1, you need to take some things into consideration. Take the positioning of these coops. Turn around and see if you can see the house. See where the house is. So see how far we are from the house? Actually, it's not very far. It's probably 30, 40 yards. Now, at my age, I can come out here. You got to pardon the background noise. These guys, they think they're being cute, but they're not. Now, at my age, I can get out here on a daily basis and take care of the animals, collect eggs, feed them, water them. 12, 15 years from now, that may not be the case. So, is that a good placement for that coop? Well, right now, yes it is. It's an excellent placement. But as I get older, I might have to move my chicken production from there closer up to the house. I might have to bring it up here someplace. Now, the reason that explains one of the reasons why I built the coop the way I did. Let's take another look at it. Can you guys see that? Explains why I built the coop the way I did. Because down the road, if I want, and I move the chicken production out of there, I can insulate that and I can turn it into a different type of building. I can turn it into a workshop or some sort of it could actually be a guest house, honestly. And, living in a chicken coop's not an unusual thing. I had a cousin that lived one in Colorado for a good 10, 12 years. So it can be done. You rehab them, and as long as the building's nice and secure, you're good to go. So let's continue on our walk, okay? Okay, so we're going to go around the chicken coop. Now we're still in zone 1, but we're getting close to zone 2. And I'm gonna say that the fence line right there for the goat and sheep paddock, that's gonna be the boundary where zone 2 starts right now. Because you see we've got another bed out here. This is gonna in the spring be planted with something productive. Now we're getting around here to this building, the loafing shed and the feed shed. I am in this building every single day. Every single day that we are taking care of the animals, I'm going in there and I'm feeding the animals. So this is definitely zone 1, and the part of the enclosure, the pen right here, this is going to be zone 1 too, because I'm in here, I'm feeding them, and I'm taking care of water. Oh, looks like I need to get water in there tomorrow. So we come around here. So there's zone 1 back here. Now let's turn around here. Let's look back here. Okay, you see we got the vehicles, we got the smoker, we got that deck that I need to tear down, and the back of the house right there. Now this area right here, this is really close to the house. Quite honestly, this is a zone 2. Even though it butts up directly against the house, it's a zone 2 because I'm not out here every single day. I'll be out here several times during the week, but this is not an area that I come to in the summertime. In fact, if you go back and you look at some of the videos, I'm complaining about the stuff growing up back here. It's because I'm not back here taking care of it. I'm not back here dealing with it every single day. Now, in the future, we're going to rebuild that deck and make it a useful area, and that will become part of zone 1, and we're going to push zone 1 out this way and put the deck is eventually it's going to have an outdoor kitchen on it. We're going to have an adobe oven out here for making baked goods and roasting stuff during the summertime, so we're not heating up the house. So this area eventually is going to become a zone 1, but right now it's a zone 2. And that's an important thing to remember when you're building your zones. Just because you make something a zone at one point doesn't mean it can't change. Doesn't mean that you can't reevaluate and change it into a different zone. And if you remember correctly, that's one of the things about permaculture is we're constantly evaluating and reevaluating and looking at our property and figuring out how best to utilize it. And what I'll do is eventually I'll put some garden beds back here, and I'll make it so that we can do a little vertical gardening back here. We got a great southern exposure. It's protected from the cold north winds. It gets good water runoff from the roof. So this will eventually become a very productive area. Right now we're just using it for storage. All right, let's go around the side of the house. So we're going to come around the house. This is what I did earlier this morning. I cleaned up around the chicken coop. So we're going through, this is a zone, quite honestly, if I'm having to hand carry water, this is a zone 1 because I'm traveling this area between the fence and the house every single day. And the reason being is because of the water faucet right there. That's the only outdoor spigot we have right now. So this is a zone 1. I am out here every single day, especially in the summertime and in the deep of winter. I'm either running the hose or filling up buckets and taking water back to the paddock for the animals. So this is zone 1 too. Now let's take a step back. Let's take a step back and look at this. So as you can see, this is really rough up here. The building is in dire need of being painted, and this is one of the things that the rehab on the house is one of the things we got to do. But eventually, what's going to be out here is we're going to move that spigot. We're gonna pull it back. Oh, you can see me in the window. Look at me. We can pull it out here away from the house, and we're going to build a deck out here on the front of the house, or a covered deck, so that we can enjoy it in the summertime, get out of the sun and sit in the coolness of the evening out here and really enjoy ourselves. Well, that's about it for the tour of the zone 1, because you can see we're back here right by the fire pit. Oh, where am I? So I hope that gives you a good idea what a zone 1 entails, or what it can entail. And I want you to remember some of the things I said. Number one, we're always reevaluating. We're always reevaluating, and if we change, if the usage of an area changes over time, then we can change it from a zone 1 to a zone 2, and we can start putting our energy and our time into making it more productive. Second thing, remember, edges. The edge of the parking lot, the edge of the building, the edge between zones, between zone 1, zone 2, zone 2, zone 3. Edges are going to be your most productive area in permaculture, so we want to make sure we take advantage of those, like putting beds up or growing things along fence lines. You know, what I could do back there by the sheep pen, if I wanted, they're going to eat anything I put back there that they can get to through the fence. So I put a tree in there, fast-growing trees. In fact, I may do this. It's actually, I had thought about this. I may actually do this. I could put fast-growing bushes or trees that they find palatable. I can put them next to the fence. I can block it off until they're established, and then I can just chop and drop right across the fence, and they can eat it. They're called fodder trees, or fodder bushes is what they're called. And I could do that back there where the goats and sheep are. In fact, I think next spring I'm gonna try to figure out how to do that. And the final thing I want to reiterate is placement of your elements. So the chicken coop is an element. Like I said, as I get older, you know, I may not be able to make it back there as easily. So I may have to build a smaller coop. You know, quite frankly, if I'm getting that old and that infirm, then having 40, 50 chickens is probably not a good idea. So I would lower the amount of chickens I have, and I would build a smaller coop that's right up next to the house, and move the chickens up there, and then I could reutilize the coop back there. Where is it? I could reutilize the coop back there for something else. I could insulate it. I could turn it into a guest house. I could turn it into an insulated workshop. I could do all sorts of things. And here's something else: the wood crib right here. You know, it's a good placement for it right now. It really is. It holds a lot of wood, and I just refilled it completely today. It was getting kind of low. We have not turned the furnace on yet this year. We probably will by the end of next week. It's supposed to get really cold. But we've been using a lot of wood. I just refilled it, and I can get the stuff from here into the house. But what happens if I'm older? What happens if carrying all that wood becomes an issue? Well, I could build a small wood crib up on where's the deck? I'm having a hard time navigating the camera, folks. There we go. There's the deck. I could build a small wood crib up on the deck that allows me to, once a week, pull just enough wood up next to the house where I can use it. All right? So I hope that gives you a good idea about Permaculture Zone 1 and some of the elements that are in it and some of the considerations that go into actually utilizing it to the best of your abilities. That reminds me. So we were talking about the zones in the last video, and somebody said their Zone 1 is 100 yards away from their house. And that's a long haul. That really is, even in the best of times for Zone 1. Key thing is, if that's the only place you can have daily interaction with your zones, then and that's where you're spending most of your effort, then that's your Zone 1. Like I said, as you get older, that may cause problems as you get older and have mobility issues. Hopefully none of us, you know, well, I'd like to think we wouldn't, but truth of the matter is eventually we all suffer from it. But so if your Zone 1 is 100 yards away from your house, and that's where you spend all your time, then that's your Zone 1. Utilize it the way you're supposed to use Zone 1. All right, that's about it. I think, or I hope this gave you guys some good ideas and it gave you some good info. If you have anything to add, like I always say, put a comment down below. We want to hear from you. We enjoy the interaction with people, and we enjoy everything about it. All right, so put it down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Share it with somebody that could possibly find it useful. Hit that notification bell. That way you will know whenever we drop more videos. I'm still working on Yoda getting some more cooking videos. She's been kind of busy with the flea market last 4 or 5 days, but hopefully she gets that done. Most of all, I want everybody to go out there and live a life done free. Take care. Thanks, Milo.